Hey there, thinkers! Welcome back to another episode of Critical Hit. My name is Ez.
And I'm Finn. And today we're going to be talking about an article that actually flew under our radar for about a week here. And this is from TheGamer, Stacey Henley, who's the editor-in-chief over there, who's written a lot, but I want to say I pretty much disagree with everything she's written. I think anyways, but most things anyways. But we're going to get into this article. We're going to describe what's going on in gaming, what she says is going on in gaming, and then we're going to talk about what we think is the best path forward. So this article starts, stop using mods to make female characters prettier. Baldur's Gate 3 is the latest game to be beset by gamers deciding that every woman needs to be endlessly beautiful and always glamorous. Oh, one would hope. There used to be a show called The Man Show for a reason, where it was like nothing but just pretty women doing... you know what? I'm not going to spoil it. If you haven't seen it yet, I suggest going and watching it. But it used to be a fun show back from...
A man show?
I think it was like the late 90s or early 2000s.
Oh, the 90s shows. I love them.
But anyways, it was like kind of like a game show premise. That's not what this video is about, though, so let's get away from that. Let's go back to the article here. So one of the strangest complaints I've seen in history of video games was when gamers were mad that Aloy had fuzz on her face. Not a beard, not an unsightly cave woman monobrow, not the black prongs of an unwaxed top lip. Surely at least some women in her society would have had that, but regular peach fuzz. Almost all humans have hair almost all over our bodies. That's two almost in the same sentence, editor. These white wispy hairs are near invisible until you get up close and see them in a certain light. Should have been praised as a commitment to photorealism, but instead many gamers were apparently ignorant of basic biology and were enraged by it. It's deemed unacceptable for women in games not to be beautiful, as the recent swath of mods for games like Baldur's Gate 3 have proven. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I completely disagree with what she's saying here. I remember the controversy about Aloy, and I remember people getting upset a little bit about the peach fuzz on her hair. Yeah, I do remember that. But it was people getting upset that they like inherently and like very apparently downgraded what Aloy looked like from the first game to the second. That's the Horizon series. If anyone doesn't know what we're talking about the Horizon series. It's a Guerrilla Games and Sony venture. It's on the PlayStation. I think it's a PlayStation exclusive. Might be able to get on PC now, I'm unaware, but not to spoil any what happens in the game. But you know what? I'm going to be, again, full disclosure, I actually haven't played the second game, and I'm not embarrassed to say it. I didn't buy the second game because I did not like the way Aloy looked. And I didn't want to spend 40 or 50 hours playing a game where I didn't like the way the protagonist looked. I've heard the gameplay is good. I'm actually pretty selective. I have more, let's say, limited time compared to what I used to play games. Although, I mean, mind you, we just put like 150 hours into Baldur's Gate.
Oh, so good. I would do it again.
But having said that, I didn't feel like this was going to be worth my time. Just because I didn't want to look at someone I didn't want to look at for those amount of hours. And maybe if Baldur's Gate 3 characters weren't incredibly good, let's say appealing, then maybe I wouldn't have liked it as much. Now, I think Larian Studios had a home run of a game here, with or without that. But that's just something that you don't even have to consider. It's just
but they had likable characters.
Likable and good looking.
Yeah, I mean, like...
And now even better looking with mods, apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
But, yeah, I completely disagree with that part of it here. I think it's just making people, or Aloy, more unappealing to mass audiences that really caused that backlash. So, yeah, they did focus on the hair.
I honestly think it's the photorealism that they're doing. They're, like, making things look too realistic that it's taking apart from the escapism that we're trying to immerse ourselves into.
Well, I don't even think it's realistic. I can walk down the street and I can see prettier women than I see in any medium of entertainment nowadays.
Exactly.
I mean...
They're not even trying.
They're not very attractive for the most part. I don't want to say they're not good actors or actors, fine. But when you're not appealing looking, and they're not allowed to have breasts anymore, or show any skin. That's not allowed to happen.
And you want to tell me you perplexed like a whole bunch of men and seduced them and brought them to your bed and how you look like that?
Well, and the femme fatale is not okay. Because the femme fatale is known as a bad thing. But women have amazing strengths in a lot of things. But part of what makes women great would be having to embrace those strengths. And I don't know why it's not okay to have that. But anyways, let's get back into the article. So within a few days of Baldur's Gate 3 launching, a mod was made that claimed to make Lizelle prettier. That's your half-orc companion, Lizelle. I don't think she was inherently ugly, but of
that's
all
a
your
lizard girl, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, half orc, but yeah,
she's missing a nose.
Of all your companions, I would say she was probably the. Can I say that the least attractive? I think she was. Yeah, of all your companions in it.
Are you allowed to say that? Least attractive?
Oh, I don't care. I'm going to. But
you might offend somebody.
I'm okay with that. But Baldur's Gate 3, as it says here, is praised for its rich writing, character development, and branching storytelling. But some just can't lose themselves in the narrative if women don't look like supermodels. There's even a mod that makes Shadowheart prettier, despite the fact that she already looks like a supermodel. And yeah, Shadowheart is attractive in it. Now she's got scars all over her face. That's like crazy exception. It's amazing how far, I want to say we've come, but really I think how far we've fallen in like 10 years here.
No, like you cannot have a hot, sexy woman or as a main character without having some sort of blemish or imperfection on her body.
It's amazing that has to be like the standard for having an attractive person. You can't just have someone that's attractive, because that is not okay. Now the scars actually fit her character pretty well and what she went through in her life. I'm just saying that it's amazing that it always happens to appear or happens that way in games. So yeah, there's a mod that makes her prettier. I don't think she was ugly, but you know what? The beauty thing about games, and mods fix games all the time, but if I want to play a game, I want to escape. I don't want to go into a game and look at a 2 or 3 out of 10. I just don't want to. I want to go look at a 9 out of 10. I want to look at a 10 out of 10. I want all my companions to be 10 out of 10s. If I can't get a 10, that's fine. In a game, I can get a 10. That's okay. That's what I want. I want to escape. That's what I don't want to look at ugly people. Or average people. I shouldn't even say ugly. I don't want to look at average people. I prefer to look at,
No, I want to look at my freaking superhero-esque type of guy who has like an 8-pack and who can kick face and take names.
Yeah, and it's amazing to me. We have to make women prettier in games now because developers, as you said earlier, are just unwilling to do it.
They don't want to do it. It's like they're afraid of making hot women.
I think they're afraid of affecting their ESG score, I think. What is it if you put breasts in a movie now?
Breasts, if she has like D's, then it's like...
You lose points towards your ESG
minus
score.
Minus 300 points. If you're showing her midriff, it's minus 200 points.
Yeah, this is just, it all goes into this theme that we're trying to head to, I would almost say social construct, or social engineering society. But to continue on, it offers up a strange standard that I'm sure anyone can be happy with. It's a problem in itself that you can't experience Lazelle's story for what it is, but objectively, Lazelle is not a beautiful creature. I don't think they made her super ugly, but sure. Shadowheart, however, is a conventionally attractive woman. To look at her and instantly think of ways you can fine-tune her into the perfect woman shows you not only video game characters, but women as a whole as commodities. That is so untrue. It happens with, like, why do we do... Okay, so women are not allowed to be seen naked in movies anymore.
Nope, shame.
Yeah. Women are allowed to, let's say, dress down the whole time, but every single guy... Look at Marvel was a big standard. Chris Hemsworth. Like, stacked, jacked. And
Nobody batted an eye when every single man had to stand...
Paul Rudd had to get jacked for it. Like, they make these guys go to the gym for, like, 4 or 5 hours a day in some cases. Chris Evans.
No, not Chris Evans, but Chris Pratt. Like, he was overweight and he still had to lose weight.
Well, yeah, and to be fair, James Gunn almost didn't cast him for that. Where there's no way that you could do the same thing for a woman. Girl, in fact, right? You would get bonus points for it, which is not okay. That's
because you told me to go to the gym. Oh, good job.
Why are we allowing that double standard in games right now, in media right now? Why are we allowing that double standard when we know for the last 100 years, since marketing was developed, we know sex sells.
Car.
And you know what? And I just want to put a question out there to everyone who might hear this. If you were going to a car wash and you saw a whole bunch of really attractive women at the car wash, let's say in bikinis going to wash it, or you saw a bunch of, let's say, less than appealing on the opposite side of the street, which would you choose?
Average. Oh, here, sorry.
Let's just say mid, average women on the other side of the street. Which would you choose? If you're going to say you don't care, fine.
You're lying.
Yeah, sure. But, so to get back into the article, this is not just a problem in Baldur's Gate 3. Any game that involves significant interaction with female characters quickly devolves into build a bitch. And if you need a woman to meet impossible beauty standards in order to connect with them, it suggests that connections are only skin deep. Mass Effect, Dragon Age, Cyberpunk 2077, and Tomb Raider are just a handful of examples. Well, I mean, I'm sorry, but my connection with any woman in a game is always skin deep. They can tell me all the interesting story they want. I'm going to spend, if Baldur's Gate was an extreme scenario, 150 hours with them. That is it. That's all they're getting for, I know I'm not spending my life with them. I don't need to form some deep connection. All I need to do is have this escapism where I can go there and be like, wow, when I played that game, that woman was quite pretty and I enjoyed that whole thing.
This whole thing, like the Mass Effect, like the
Andromeda?
Yeah, the girl character was absolute trash as well.
Oh, and the voice actress for her is actually quite pretty. They downgraded her for looking, for what she looks like. But they didn't do that with the guy.
No, the man, look at it. Like, yeah, his hair is like completely complex. You can see the shine and the glisten. You can probably see a tear.
Yeah, Ross. I can't remember her name. But anyways, they completely downgraded her into that game, which was amazing. Because why do that? But to get back into it, we're almost on the article here. Let's continue on. It goes back to the outrage around Aloy, where the game was criticized for being hyper-realistic when it came to imperfectible hairs on her face. But Aloy and Lara Croft and a dozen more video game women living in wild conditions are always shown without leg or armpit hair, despite the fact that they would definitely have had some. Developers already make hundreds of decisions aimed at making women more attractive, and these are just taken as a standard. Again, I completely disagree.
Holy fuck, again.
Developers...
It's like the realism. I don't care about your damn realism.
I don't think it's realism at all. I think developers are downgrading on purpose. And we just saw what we just talked about with Mass Effect Andromeda, the woman who played the main protagonist. They downgraded her. Developers didn't find ways to make it prettier. They downgraded from the voice actress. And that's the same look at Cammy in Street Fighter. Look at the Mortal Kombat 1 video game coming out. It's every Western game now is downgrading what women look like. They're making them uglier. And it's to appeal to some woke culture. I gotta tell you, gamers don't... I don't want to speak for all gamers, but we want... Yeah, well, no, actually, we're the biggest... It used to be. We're actually the biggest group of people.
We're very inclusive. We're a very inclusive bunch. We have orcs. We have like dwarves. We have like a whole bunch of things.
Did you just say ogres as well? Orcs?
I do.
Ogres. Yeah,
I do.
I know. I know you so well. I know that's what you meant. It's okay.
It's fine. No, yeah, exactly. People who play MMOs, right? You change your race all the time. We don't give a shit. As long as they look pretty.
You know what? Gamers tend to get along with all creed, race, ethnicity, whatever it is.
We don't care.
It's not a big deal, but why are you forcing this ideology on us? Why are you forcing this belief on us that women have to be ugly? Like I said earlier in the video, I can walk down the street and see prettier women just on any street now than I can see in any medium of entertainment, including gaming. Now, Baldur's Gate, of course, was accepting that, and because Larian knew what people wanted. They knew sex sells, and they gave people what they want.
And I will say with Baldur's Gate 3, like, their outfits, they leave, like, little into the imagination.
No, the armor does its job, and if you want to make them look, let's say...
risque.
Yeah, then you take the armor off, you put the underwear on. They have some underwear that looks pretty risque on their polygonal characters.
Underwear. I would call that.
But again, that's freedom of choice. That's what gamers want. They want to be able to have, and they want to make the game what they want it to be for them. And having that tailored experience is incredible. Having a mod that makes women more beautiful in it, fine. If you want to have uglier women, I don't think it would be very successful, but fine. That's what you mods should do.
Aren't mods just like basically trying on a new piece of clothing?
Well, they're just making the game more suitable the way you want to play it, and that's
stylize it, right? Yeah. So,
yeah.
What the heck is people's problem?
And especially with a single player experience, why in the hell would you even have an issue with this? If I want to escape better, and like I said, I won't play games now if I have ugly protagonists.
For the people who always complain that we don't accept things and like we don't have like open minds, I'm very like closed-minded towards this.
And you know what I think with the hair thing was? Why did they do a picture with Aloy just showing all that peach fuzz?
Like, they did it for a reason.
Obviously.
They want the backlash.
But they definitely did it to make a statement. They didn't have to do a photo that close of that part. In that light. They didn't have, but they did it.
They get it for the graphics design. They're trying to make it show, like, look how much detail we put in every little aspect of her face. Yeah, you made her fat.
Yeah. Well, and this goes on to say, in real life, we've seen Julia Roberts, Rachel McAdams, Miley Cyrus, and Emily statements by having, of course, unshaven armpits, unshaven legs. Fine. If that appeals to people, fine. It doesn't appeal to me, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't appeal to most, as our marketing for the last 100 years would have told us. That's what sells. There's some people that have that fetish. Fine. If your fetish is that you like armpit hair,
Greg, I don't.
Sure, I'm not going to judge you. I mean, maybe a little. I'm not going to judge you on a whole, but that's your thing. Fine. Anyways. There's not much more to the article than that. It does say they downgraded Ellie. They absolutely made Ellie less attractive in the second game. I wouldn't say they made her look like a guy or anything. They just very much made her look less attractive in the second game overall.
They definitely made her look.
That was from The Last of Us, of course.
I thought she looked like.
And who you're seeing up on screen was Abby. I didn't care for Abby, but really, I don't. Oh, spoiler alert.
Abby.
I didn't like
also...
Abby because Abby killed like the only really great person about the game. And yeah, I mean, she was always going to have a hurdle to get over for me to like her after that. I really didn't enjoy playing his Joel. I'm going to say his name, Joel's killer, because you know, at that point, I'm like, I want every time the zombies got me, I'd be like, yes, the zombies killed the person who killed Joel. In real life, would there be people with those, you know, unwaxed lips for women in the cave age, in the Stone Age? Sure, that is a very possible thing.
Don't forget your BBL.
But I never want to see that in games, ever. No, thank you. And they don't ever show guys with armpit hair in games either, especially in Japanese games that I can think of. But it's crazy. They will have feminists bitching and complaining and crying all day long about this for women, but never will one ever stand up and say, maybe it's unfair if we do it to guys too. And that's what's crazy. Overall, I just think she's completely wrong in her synopsis of this all. We have far fewer shirtless men to be found at the very bottom, it says here, and I gotta tell you, that is completely and utterly untrue. In fact,
so untrue.
In fact, it's more common, I would say, nowadays to see a penis in a movie than you would ever see even breasts. And that's a movie? Now, I don't think games are quite there yet, but it's definitely going that way. At least in Western games.
Yeah, exactly. And these people are just they're so out of touch from reality that they just think that their whole entire social norm, their own social norm, is everyone else's norm, and they're just trying to make it everybody else's problem.
I'm tired of them forcing this on me. I'm tired of them forcing this on us.
Yes.
Stop trying to make it a thing. Stop trying to socially engineer us. Let us be people.
Stop trying to make fetch happen.
Yeah, let me escape when I play a game. If you're not letting me escape and being with, you know, an attractive person, even a travel around. I'm not even saying it's a love interest. I just want to travel around with attractive, appealing-looking people. And if you give that to me, I'm more likely to buy your game.
Believe in only two things completely: the First Amendment and boobs.
Give the people what they want. I don't think you should work against yourself as a developer. You know, I'll just end this with, right, and we'll put up a picture, I think, of Fable 3. I think that's kind of almost like a synopsis of what's been going on in Western entertainment. They just flat-chested, ugly, like beaten with an ugly stick kind of character for Fable 3. And I don't know why, because again, I'm probably not going to buy, I'm not going to say I'm probably not, I will not buy Fable 3 because of it.
But it's not hard to make her pretty. I don't understand.
I don't know why they've decided to do it. Well, like I said, I think everything we've said so far is kind of why. Because I think ESG is really forcing it, and I think developers are really bending the knee to social mobs and social justice. And I just hope it ends at some point, because I don't think it hasn't worked out really for movies. And I think it's going to continue. As it more progresses into games, you're going to see that continue in there as well. And you're going to see, and games surpass movies by like 2.5 times in sales every year. When you start to mess with this industry, you're going to see that it's pretty painful when you're in movies. Profits aren't always razor thin. In games, a lot of the times they are. So you need every cent. But anyways, that's all I got. Let's have pretty people in games.
Yeah, stop making everybody so damn ugly.
Do you have anything else?
No, I have nothing else. Just touch some grass.
Yeah, stop. Shame on you, the gamer. Shame on you, editor-in-chief. Stop being so out of touch with your people. But we'll see you in the next video, guys.
See you guys in the next video. Toodles!
Bye, guys.